Welcome to this final video on the Fugue by Bach. In BWV 998 we are going to be checking out all of this ending, as it were, how Bach weaves the Fugue and the Italianate section together, and I'm going to show you how Bach has chucked and inverted the ideas from the beginning of the Italianate Fugue. They all come back, so if you've done your first video, you're going to love this video. We're also going to see how Bach brings us back into the top of the piece, one of only 3 times that he's ever done this in his entire range. Right, let's dive straight into BWV 998, the Fugue by Bach. Hello and welcome to this first micro-study to the final bit of the Fugue. Bear in mind that it's important to keep in mind that what we're about to go through here has already been seen in bar 30, and after it Bach has just inverted the ideas, and I will show you what he's done after we've stepped through. I'm just going to step through the fingering for the first few bars, or the first idea, pause, and then I will rewind back to bar 30 and show you what we're doing. So starting at 64 we had this D. The end of the opening bar we saw in 29. First finger stays down, that's the pivot. Second finger F sharp at 4, fourth finger at 5. Third finger on a G, open B. First finger ready for that bar. Second finger on a G, to D. Open D, 3 and 2. First finger on an A. Second finger up. I'll take my first finger away so you can see there. My second finger is on that C sharp. There's a reason for that. A in the bass, G and C sharp, and then low D onto F sharp and D with 3 and 2. So your second finger doing the guiding there. Open D, E, hinge bar, hinges only on that C sharp. Down, fourth finger down, third finger on, both at 4. Second finger in position, 2, 1, 4. Open A again. And I'm going to stop there. I know it's the beginning of the bar, but again, Bach is doing ideas across bar lines. Bar lines mean nothing to him. So that's that idea, that's the fingering for that idea. But if we head back quickly just to 30, I'll show you what Bach is doing. So 30 we had low F again, and then, so here we've got the 2 A's in close proximity, in the same cross stringed, whereas in 64 we had. Then Bach moves up to the G again in the bass, but this time it's A and B, and then G and C before he resolves to D. Whereas in 64 we had the 2 A's, and then we had the B and A, so it's flip the notes round, and then C sharp and G before resolving down to a D. So he's flipped the notes around. It's super clever, but it's also very minimalistic use of ideas. He hasn't had to think very much. Lovely, simplistic, and this becomes a series then, because then he brings in the thirds from the middle bit of the Fugue. These are sighing thirds. It's a feature of Bach's music, and he puts the 2 ideas together. So we're now getting Italianate into fugal territory, and you're going to see Bach bring it all together and mash it up until we get back to our Fugue. Alright, let's take a look at this in slow motion. Alrighty, welcome back to bar 67. So I left it off here with those A sighing thirds. We're going to get into another Italianate section. Second finger is going to slide up, D, low A. Second finger is going to slide down, third finger up, ready for a C sharp. Then your third finger is going to guide up, so I'm using 2 E's there. Third finger guides up, D and F sharp. Second finger going to guide down to the E. 1 and 4 on the G sharp and D respectively, and then bar at the 2. And then again, we're back into a fugal entry, or fugal idea. Thirds, I'm using 3 and 4 here, super important, so that I can pre-prepare my 1 on the G sharp. Second finger up, open A, first finger ready with a hinge bar. Because then Bach throws a spanner in the works. We have an A sharp. Interesting choice. First finger is then going to slide up. Third finger onto a D sharp. So everything happening on the bar there stays there. This time right hand doing the selecting. Nice, nice, and then we're back into another Italianate section. So there is a lot going on there, and yet again, if you bounce back, you will find the ideas pop up in bars 34 and 35. It's the same idea. Bach is just bringing it all back into us. Right, we'll check this out in slow motion. Okay, welcome back to bar 71. So I left it off here hanging on this E. You're going to take a 4 and 2 finger on 5 and 3. First finger, and if you can, bring it into a half bar. So because there's an A. Then your second finger is going to float down, third finger is going to come on. 1, open B, and if you notice, I swapped into a first finger here, very important for the next bit of 72. You're going to guide up, first finger guides up, 4, 3, 1, 6, 5, 3, 2 goes down to a B, 2 then guides down to the A sharp, 4 on the E, half bar 2. Third finger on an F sharp. Then 3 and 2 down. 3 off. 1 and 3 down. 2 and 3. 1, 3. Second finger ready. F sharp and A. C natural in the middle. Open D. Open B and G. Half bar. And I'm going to leave it there because that is actually quite a lot. The fingering I have changed here to make it easier because some of the scores I've played through, the fingering is quite twisty and windy. So take your time with this, follow the guide fingers. I know I've whipped through it fairly quickly, but we're on YouTube. You should be able to slow it down and speed it up and all the rest of that. So the main thing is make sure that your guide fingers are helping you get in and out of all these twisty changes. Let's check this out in slow motion. Quick interruption here. There are a ton of links below here. There are links back to the first series of videos. I think this is number 8 or number 7, I can't remember, along with links back to the Prelude, the first movement. If you want the score, you will find a link to that. That'll take you to my shop and you can grab the score with all of the tab and the music and the suggestions from this video. If you want to have a look at that, check out the links below. Welcome back to bar 74. So I left it off here at a half bar with an E and G. First finger is just going to lift up and it's going to go to a hinge bar for a good reason. Your second finger is going to lift up as well as you do that open D, and it's going to go onto a B. You're going to track forward to the 3rd fret so that this is on 3. Fourth finger is going to come down on that E, second finger down on the B, and your third finger is free for a good reason. It's an unusual way of playing that E minor chord, but we've got this funny C sharp in the bass, and then you're going to track back with your first finger into a full bar, second finger down onto a G, everything else stays down for this A7 chord. Then your third finger is going to come off, expose the B, back onto C sharp. Then you are going to stay in that hinge bar. Cross string that, open A, F sharp, G sharp with an open D, F sharp, G sharp with a C. First finger down from the bar, second finger on a D, first finger on that B there. If you can, try and across the entire thing. Fourth finger flips up to an A, and then we're into a half bar. This time it is a half bar, no hinge. That's a lot already. There is quite a bit. So I'm gonna go through that little tiny section slowly on its own. Follow my fingering. This also is the point here. For the first time in this piece where you're probably able to stick in an ornament. It's implied because Bach is doing this in the melody. So keep that in mind. There is an opportunity there to add some of your Baroque ornamentation. Right, let's have a look at this in slow motion. Welcome back. We're halfway across bar 75. I left it off with an A and a half bar here. The reason is you're going to be tracking backwards with this first finger. A, G sharp, A, 2 and 3 up for an F sharp and D, and then again, A, G sharp, A, third finger down, open G, fourth on an F sharp, 1, 3 on an F sharp with a low D. Now I play the C natural here at 5, and it is possible to do it as 1, and then the next bass note can be a 4th, but that's your call. I played with a 3, 1, 0, 2, 1 with an open A. I leave that G on for good reason. So we get the full sound of that A7, resolving into the beginning of the Da Capo Fugue. Only 3 of these style fugues has Bach written in his entire output that we have left. One of them for us is BWV 997. Da Capo Fugue basically means you go from the beginning through a middle section and then back to the beginning again. Ternary form, if you want to. So it's super interesting, very rare, and we're sort of happy to have it in our toolbox of repertoire, as it were. So then we are back into the fugue, and I'm not going over that again. I've already done that in the first video for this section, so if you want to go over that, it is entirely repeated. There is nothing different other than the end note and the end chord, which he just stops on. So let's take a look at this in slow motion. All right, this is a bit of a bonus micro-study. I had a question a while back, which you can check out here, about bass stopping and the Baroque. It's a really good question. I decided to keep it until the end now and just do a little bit of a sort of refresher or an insight into it, because this is probably one of the best sections for it. There are a lot of open bass notes and they're not meant to ring over each other. You have a variety of ways of stopping them. So I'm going to pick it off and up from a bar 65. I've got 2 bass notes ringing there. If you can, stop the lower one. Rest stroke down to stop the D 4th string. Rest stroke down to stop the A. Okay, so that's the 2 places straight away off the bat. So you can see in that camera angle there how I'm starting to stop those basses there. Moving on, we get this E. Right here, I'm coming back up to stop that A there. Leaving it, 3rd finger stops. Again, rest stroke down. So I'm seriously aware of where those A's are and where those open strings are and where I need to stop them. The choice of technique is you either stop it with your left hand, or 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a rest stroke stop if you can, or a side string stop if you need to. In this particular section, I can't think of anywhere where I would do a side string one, or that I have done. But main, I have already worked this out. So I have done this slowly right back at the beginning when I first learned this. This is not another layer to add on. This is a layer that has been added in when I learnt it. So it just becomes second nature to me to stop those A's and D's ringing over each other, or the E's and A's, which in this case is nice and easy because the E here is fretted. You don't want them to ring over too much. Keep that in mind as you play through this piece. Try your best to hear it, because otherwise it really does make a difference. So if I play 65 again, no stopping. It sounds a little bit muddier than what it would normally sound, so you're looking for crisp, clean, Baroque bass notes. Hope that helps, hope that answers your question. If you have any more questions, drop them on the links below. I always answer them if I can. Thank you very much for staying until the end. This has been brought to you by classicalguitarrocks.com. My baby, there are a ton of lessons like this, along with Dian's, Brouwer and Villalobos. So not just Baroque, but modern, challenging pieces that'll get your 6-string inspiration in today.